Well, here's a look at Tucumcari, where we don't have a whole lot happening as far as the skies go, and that's really the case across the state, but we do have quite a bit of wind still in the eastern part of the state, and blowing dust could be a concern throughout the early afternoon hours as we get the last little bit of this wind out of the state. Right now in Albuquerque, we're looking at 46 degrees with a northwest wind at 15 miles per hour. Temperatures across the north in the 30s and 40s, so it is quite a bit cooler than it was this time yesterday. Down to the south, still looking at the 60s and 70s. The cool air hasn't quite made it all the way down to the far southern tier of the state, and that's reflected very nicely here in the 24-hour temperature change, where we have dropped off by 21 degrees in Grants, 11 degrees in Albuquerque, 13 in Santa Fe, 15 in Taos, 16 in Las Vegas, so much cooler across the board for the northern tier of the state. Meanwhile, down in the south, we're actually warming up across the southeast corner. That cool air will make it down to this part of the state for tomorrow, and we're talking much cooler temperatures there for your Wednesday while the rest of the state warms up. Wind's still an issue across much of the state. We're looking at 29-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Albuquerque, 28 in Roswell, 31 in Socorro, and 39 out in Clovis. Now, if you'll notice, out in the eastern part of the state, that's where we're seeing some of our higher winds right now. They're not quite as high, especially along the very western edge of the state. We're only looking at an 18-mile-per-hour wind gust in Gallup. So we'll start to see those winds come down west to east throughout the early afternoon hours, and that's reflected here in our forecast winds. The strongest winds right now in east central sections, but over the next couple of hours, we'll start to see those winds come down, and the winds almost non-existent by the time we reach the overnight hours. That's going to make for a very cold start for your Wednesday, and then we'll continue to see quiet wind conditions through at least midday Thursday, with maybe just occasionally breezy conditions across the eastern part of the state. Our storm system that's to our north is what's responsible for all the wind that we've seen. Is now dumping quite a bit of snowfall across the northeastern corner of Colorado. That will continue to lift out, and as that happens, we will continue to see those winds come down. We will be looking at those cooler temperatures for this afternoon on the back end of that storm system. Then as we move into tomorrow, we'll cool down across that far southern portion of the state. Otherwise, we'll warm up just by a few degrees. It's not really until Thursday and Friday that we really start to see that warm up take hold across the state, and then late in the week we'll see another cold front move into the northeastern corner of the state, and that's going to help cool things down for the weekend, but we will not see as big of a cool down for the weekend as what we've seen today. Southern Colorado, temperatures into the 40s for this afternoon. Then we start to see that warm up near 60 degrees for the end of the week and start of the weekend. Over the northwest, mostly sunny skies here as well. Highs into the 40s to near 50 degrees. Low 60s by Thursday and Friday, and that continues into the weekend as well. Over the southwest, cooler temperatures, highs into the 60s to 70s, and we will see that little bit of a cool down on Wednesday in Silver City before warming back up to near 70 degrees on Thursday. Over the southeast, we will continue to deal with the winds throughout the early afternoon hours. They will eventually come down. Temperatures will cool down in Roswell for tomorrow before we rebound to near 80 degrees by the end of the week. Over the northeast, we'll continue to see the winds diminish here as well. Highs into the 40s and 50s. We're back into the low 60s for the end of the week before settling into the upper 50s for the weekend. Over the northern mountains, we'll continue to see the wind through at least the early afternoon hours. The winds will continue to come down though, and the temperatures go up for the end of the week, near 60 degrees by Friday. Over the east mountains, winds continue to diminish here as well. Highs right around 50 degrees in the metro. We'll top out in the mid to upper 50s. We will continue to see a little bit of wind through the next couple of hours, but once we get past that, we will be looking at clear sailing as temperatures start to warm back up. In fact, we're back into the upper 60s for the end of the week, and even low to mid 60s for the weekend. So far, looking pretty nice.
Okay, thank you, John.